In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, one of the texts found at Nag Hammadi that the church tried to destroy, there is a scene that explains why the arcane beings work so hard to remain invisible. Mary describes a vision in which she ascends through the 7 kingdoms, and at each gate an arcane being tries to stop her. And one of the disciples asks her, "How did you see them? How did you know they were there?" And Mary responds with something that the church could not allow in canonical scripture. Jesus taught us to open the eyes that see beyond sight, not spiritual vision, but true vision with physical eyes, because when you see them in material form, they lose their primary weapon. The greatest advancement of the arcane is not their power, but their invisibility. They operate at frequencies that most humans cannot perceive, which means they can reach your field, influence your thoughts, manipulate your emotions, and you will never know they are there. You will think that every impulse is yours, every fear is yours, every thought of self-sabotage is yours alone. But the moment you see them, the moment your physical eyes perceive the entities operating beyond normal vision, everything changes, because you cannot be manipulated by what you are watching. You cannot be controlled by what you recognize as separate from yourself. Jesus did not teach the chosen ones to feel arcane. He taught them to see arcane with open eyes, in conscious agreement, not in meditation, not in altered states, in orderly reality, because that is where the arcane reside, here, just outside the frequency that your eyes were programmed to detect. And the moment you learn to shift your visual perception to even the slightest level, they become visible. And this visibility is the only thing they fear more than any prayer, any ritual, any spiritual practice you could do. Tonight you are learning the technique that Jesus taught, the technique that the church removed from every accepted text because they couldn't allow Christians to know that the entities they are praying for protection from can be visible. And once you see them, once you've looked directly at an arcana with your physical eyes and watched it recede from being perceived, you'll never again question whether it's real. If you're learning to see the arcana tonight, comment "I see them now," right now. Before I give you the technique, you need to understand why the arcana invested so much energy in remaining invisible to human perception. It's not because they are naturally invisible. They are not ghosts. They are not incorporeal spirits. They have form. They exist in dimensions that overlap with material reality, but they operate at frequencies somewhat removed from the human eye, which was designed to detect them. And this separation is intentional. It's part of the prison's design. When Demiurge created the human body, he engineered the eyes to see only a small part of what is here. You can see visible light. The electromagnetic spectrum is between about 380 and 700 nanometers. That's it. But reality doesn't cease to exist outside of that range. Infrared is here, ultraviolet is here, and the arcane exists at frequencies just far beyond what your eyes can naturally detect. Close enough to interact with you, far enough away that you can't see them doing so. Think about how much easier it is to control someone who can't see you. You can stand behind them and speak thoughts to their brain, and they'll think those thoughts originated with them. You can generate emotions in their field, and they'll believe those emotions are their natural response to situations. You can strike strings into their energy bodies and drain them, and they will simply feel mysteriously tired without knowing why. Invisibility isn't just an advantage for arcane beings. It's the foundation of the entire control system. But here's what the Gnostics discovered and the church tried to hide. The human eye is more flexible than the demiurge intended. Yes, it was designed to see only a small portion of frequencies, but it can be trained. The mechanism is already there. You don't need new eyes. You need to activate the ability that your eyes currently possess, but which has been suppressed since creation. Because if all humans could see arcane things, the food system would collapse immediately. You cannot feed someone who is watching you feed. You can't manipulate someone who sees your hand on the controls. Chosen ones who learn to see arcane things report the same thing. The moment visibility happens, the power dynamic reverses. Before, you felt like you were being attacked by invisible forces and you didn't know where they were coming from. Afterward, you see exactly what's happening. You see the entity. You see the point of connection. You see the cord, and the moment you see it, the arcane knows you see it, and he panics because his blanket is broken. And those who operate without a blanket are weak, desperate, and easily faint. The technique Jesus taught is not about developing clairvoyance. It's about expanding the range of what your physical eyes can detect. And the mechanism is simpler than most people think, which is why the church had to suppress it so aggressively. If it were complex, if it required years of training, they could have let it exist as an esoteric practice that only mystics would concern themselves with. But this isn't complex. Most of the chosen ones activate this skill within the first 7 days of practicing correctly. And once activated, it doesn't switch off. You can't ignore what you've learned to see. Your eyes don't just receive light. They interpret frequency. Interpretation happens in the brain, not the eye. The eye captures data. The brain decides what counts as real and what gets filtered out. And since creation, your brain has been filtering out frequencies where arcane meanings exist. Not because these frequencies aren't reaching your retina, because your brain was programmed to categorize them as visual noise and delete them before they reach conscious awareness. But this filter isn't permanent. It's malignant. And the way you recalibrate it is by training your visual attention to notice what is normally discarded. You've probably experienced this before without realizing what you were experiencing. You're in a room alone. The lights are dim, and in your peripheral vision, you see movement, a shifting shadow, a shape that doesn't belong. You turn to look directly at it and it disappears. Many people dismiss this as imagination, tranquility, brilliant tricks, but the chosen ones who have learned to see recognize what this truly is. Their peripheral vision momentarily detects an archon before their central vision filter arrives and slips through it. Peripheral vision operates differently than central vision. Central vision is dark, focused, and optimized for detail. Peripheral vision is optimized to detect subtle movements and changes in the environment. And peripheral vision has access to a slightly wider frequency range than central vision does. That's why you see things in the corner of your eye that disappear when you look directly at them. Your peripheral vision has picked up something that the filter of your central vision won't allow. The technique Jesus taught exploits this space. You're not trying to see archons with direct focus. You're training your peripheral awareness to keep what it's detecting far enough away for your conscious mind to register. And once your brain realizes that what it's filtering is consistently there, not random, not imagination, but the very presence itself, the filter begins to relax, and then you start to see them. Not just in peripheral flashes, in sustained perception, with your eyes fully open, in a state of normal conscious awareness. Here's the technique. It's called gaze soft, and every mystery tradition that teaches students to see non-physical entities uses some version of it. You'll practice this tonight, and in 3 to 7 days, you'll see your first archon. Don't feel it, not to feel it, to see it with physical eyes. Find a space where you can sit comfortably in low light, not darkness. You want a neutral field of vision, and then you rub your gaze. This is critical. Most people, when they try to see something, they concentrate harder. They strain their attention. They try to look directly at what they're looking for. That's exactly the wrong approach. You're doing the opposite. You're widening your gaze, relaxing your eye muscles, letting your vision go slightly out of focus so that you're not looking at anything specific. You're just seeing the whole field all at once. This will feel uncomfortable at first because you're not used to seeing things this way. Your eyes want to focus. Your brain wants a target. But you keep your gaze dirty, plain, receptive instead of searching. And while you maintain that dirty gaze, you are paying attention to your peripheral awareness, not moving your eyes towards it. You're only noticing what's at the edges of your vision. While your central vision remains flat and blurry, in the first few minutes, you start to perceive things you normally filter out. Tiny movements in the air, shadows that shift when nothing physical is moving, shapes that don't correspond to any object in the room. Most people's first instinct is to look directly at these shapes. And the moment they do, the shapes disappear. That's the filter that falls. Their central vision programming. Air's still eliminating what the peripheral vision detected. So you don't look directly. You keep your gaze dirty. You acknowledge the movement in your peripheral awareness, but you don't pursue it with focus. You just keep the dirty look and let your brain slowly realize that what you're seeing on the periphery isn't going away. It's consistent. It's present. And over 7 to 10 minutes of practice, your brain begins to allow more than what peripheral vision detects. To reach conscious awareness, the filter begins to relax, and that's when you'll see your first one. It won't be as you expect. Archons don't appear as solid three-dimensional beings. They appear as semi-transparent distortions in the air, like owls of heat, like a glow that has a vague shape but without defined lines. Some chosen ones describe them as shadows with depth. Others are like dark smoke that moves with intention. Others are like vaguely humanoid figures that seem to be made of static. What you will see will depend on what type of arcana you perceive and how dense its manifestation is at that moment. The first time you see one clearly, your immediate reaction will be to wonder if you're really seeing it or imagining it. That doubt is normal, but here's how you'll know it's real. He will react to your attention. The moment you clearly perceive him, he will move, either towards you to intensify his influence or away from you because he recognizes that he has been seen. This movement, this response to your consciousness, is what confirms that you are not imagining. Imagination does not react to being observed. Real entities do. Once your eyes learn to detect archons, you'll start seeing them in unexpected places. And what you'll notice immediately is how common they are. They're not rare. They are everywhere. Most people walk around with at least one arc connected to their field at any given time. And in certain environments, churches, government buildings, hospitals, places where the emotional density is high, you will see dozens of them clustered together. The first place the most sought-after people notice is in their own home. You'll be sitting in your bedroom and you'll attract attention around the corner. You'll turn your gaze and see it, a dark shape pointing towards the sky or pressed against a corner, just watching. Most of the time it's not actively attacking. He's watching, waiting for an emotional trigger, fear, anger, hatred, despair that he can feed on. And the moment you generate that emotion, he approaches. You will see it approaching. You will see it position itself near your head or on your head, and you will feel the energy shift happening in real time. But here's what makes visibility so powerful. The moment you see it, the moment you recognize what you're doing, the feeding stops working, because you're no longer unconsciously generating the emotion. You are aware of it. You are watching. And conscious emotion doesn't fuel arcs the way unconscious emotion does. They need you without knowing it. They need you thinking that the emotion is entirely yours. The moment you recognize that there is an entity trying to feed that emotion, the emotional state changes. It becomes information instead of food. You'll also start seeing them linked to other people. This is harder to observe because you'll realize how many people you interact with daily are being actively manipulated and have no idea. You'll be talking to someone, and you'll see a bow leaning against your mirror or against your head. And when they say something cruel or irrational or self-destructive, you'll see the bow's pulse. You'll see it tighten its pressure, and you will immediately recognize that this idea did not originate with them. It was implanted. Some chosen individuals report seeing arches in specific locations consistently. Certain horns of certain rooms, doorways, pressures, emeralds. These are anchor points, places where the mirror between the dimensions is thin enough so that the arches can maintain a more stable presence. And once you know where the anchor points are in your home, you can eliminate them. Not through ritual, through awareness. You look directly into space. You recognize what is there, and you speak. I see you. You have no power here. Get out, and most of the time, yes. Not because you banished him with spiritual authority, because you removed his blanket, and the anchor points aren't where they're constantly seen. The most disturbing anchor points happen when you start seeing them in public. You'll be in a confusing space, a store, a suburb, a stadium, and you'll see the anchor points moving through the audience like cats. They're not attached to anyone specifically. They're scanning. They are searching for the person who is transmitting the frequency they feed on, and when they find their target, they align. You will see it happen. You will see the anchor point connected to a field. And in seconds, the person's behavior will change. They will become more tired, more agitated, more disconnected. It's the beginning of lunch. And here's what the chosen ones struggle with the most. You can't warn them. If you go to a stranger and say, "There's an entity attached to you," they'll think you're crazy. So you watch, you witness, and you do the only thing you can do. You maintain your own practice of visibility so that the arcane don't do to you what they are doing to everyone else around you who cannot see. Jesus taught the chosen ones how to see the arcane with their physical eyes, not with spiritual vision, with real vision, because visibility is the only thing they fear, more than any practice of prayer or spirituality. When you can see them, you can't be desperate. You can't be convinced that you're imagining the attack. You're watching it happen. And conscious observation breaks the feeding mechanism. The technique is the dirty look. Low light, relaxed focus, peripheral awareness. Practice for 10 minutes daily for 7 days and you will see your first results. And once you've confirmed to yourself that these entities are real and present and operate all around you, everything changes. You're no longer defending the blind. You're navigating a visible field. And this visibility is a power they can't take away from you. If you are practicing arcane visibility tonight, do 3 things right now. First, comment "I see you now" and commit to the 7-day practice. Second, subscribe to our channel, because protection protocols and advanced vision techniques are coming. Third, like this video so that other chosen ones can discover that they can see what has been hidden. Do all 3 now, so tonight find a quiet space, dim the lights. Let your gaze wander for 10 minutes, and look what's there. You're not making anything disappear. You're just removing the filter that's hiding what has always been there. And once you see them, once you look directly at an arcana and see that it reacts to being seen, you will never again question whether it is real. They are here, and now you can see them.